Hello. So today on the show, I have Simran Somani. She's a Kolkata Maheshwari girl, but yeah, she's not from Kolkata. She quit it at the age of 6 and grew primarily in Chennai. And her name Simran is because she was born in late 90s. So her parents probably got smitten by Shah Rukh Khan and Kajol, that romantic saga called DDLJ. So was that the case, Simran?
So I wish that was true because I have answered this question so many times. I wish I could just say yes, but I don't really think that was the case. But I'm still lucky because wherever I go, people identify me instantly in terms of DDLJ.
And can you speak Marwadi in spite of being born and brought up primarily in Chennai in the Tamil thing?
No, but I can understand Marwadi. But speaking Marwadi, I can understand Bengali also
Acha.
a little bit, but I can't really speak very well. I can't speak Tamil also very well. So I think it's a language thing. It's not.
Yeah. So Simran, for the uninitiated, cleared her CA in May 2018, and she's recently cracked the IIM Ahmedabad admission process. So Simran, you did your articleship from Big Four, and yet you managed to crack CA final in the first attempt. So I have a lot of questions which emerge out of it. So PwC Chennai, how easy or difficult was it to get there? Once you were in there, what is the kind of exposure you got? Did that help in CA final? Was that an impediment in some way that you were like so full of work that you never could study except the final leg, that internship holidays that you get 5-6 months of paid leave? Yeah, no, that 25,000 kind of a stipend or something.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
did
Yeah.
PwC help you in your first jobs as CA or then at IIM Ahmedabad? A lot of questions surrounding Big Four because this is like a pointed interview for chartered accountant students only.
Right. So in terms of getting into Big Four for your articleship, what I would say is you need to be very clear if you want exposure in just one vertical or do you want to learn all of it. Because if you go to Big Four and if you're in a statutory audit the way I was, I didn't really get to see anything in tax or transfer pricing or anything. So that way it restricts you a little bit. But the amount of exposure you get in that particular vertical is unparalleled. I think when I was just 18, 19, I was able to interact with really high ranking officials from big MNCs, and that kind of exposure really helped me because I didn't go to college. I directly went from 12th to joining PwC after clearing my IPCC. And in terms of how difficult it is to get, so I think I was lucky because the PwC was my first interview. I gave it even before the IPCC results were out, and I was told that if I pass both the groups, I will get in. So I'm not really sure how difficult or easy. I was very lucky in that aspect. Does it hamper your preparation? I don't want to lie and say no, it's completely manageable. It's not. It is a little difficult. But when I asked my seniors this, they just gave me one mantra, which was how many percentage of people pass CA final, and that is sub 10%. At that point it used to be about 10% of the people. Even now it is around that much. And do you think that those 10% who pass are all non Big Four articles? The answer to that is no, not at all. In fact, my batch had two CA final rank holders. I see more and more people from Big Fours actually not even passing. They all go on to get one of the top 50 ranks as well. So I don't really think that there's much of a nexus between the Big Four articleship and not clearing final. For me also, I also studied during those 5 months. In fact, I didn't even know what subject was in which group when I went on exam leave. It was in that state. But 5 months is enough. If you sit down, buckle down, and do it, it works. Does it help you later on? Yeah, I wanted to get into financial due diligence, and that is something that is only initially open to Big Four statutory audit articles. So it does. A Big Four on a CV, in my opinion, does help. So that is why I think for me it was a trade-off. It was worth it. I didn't want to be in practice, so I didn't want the multi-exposure. Statutory audit gave me what I wanted. So I would say it was definitely worth it. In my IMA interviews, it didn't at all. PwC didn't come up. Actually, none of my interviews really talked about my articleship at all. So, and the non-Big Four articles or Big Four articles in an interview setting, it's still pretty much on par. Like I don't think it really hampers you that much in the B school process per se.
So in the B school process, primarily, like even if you aren't from like a Big Four or a rank holder, does that help in or act as an impediment in some way? The lack of it or the presence of that? I
So
don't
the
think. Is it?
So I'm not a rank holder in any of the levels, none of the three levels. I passed it in the first attempt and I had good scores. Like I had 60% above in final as well and 65 in IPCC. But I didn't have a rank. I didn't think that really hampered me in any case. But does it help to have a rank? Definitely. I mean, you get calls at lower percentiles for the process, and some couple of the IIMs also give you the top 10 rankers are called for interviews regardless of your percentile. So if you have a single digit rank, then it will definitely help you. Yeah.
Oh, so you're talking about, like, do chartered accountants have some sort of percentile relaxation when it comes to the CAT process? So like, what was your percentile in CAT 2019? And how does it go? So I, to the best of my knowledge, and we interviewed Shayanika Roy. So she
Yeah, I
also
saw that.
was in the 97 kind of a range, because the
Yeah.
typical perception is that it has to be like 99 plus kind of a thing for an IMABC call from this Holy Trinity. So does being a CA give you some sort of a breather, like in terms of diversity and then so forth?
For sure it does. Especially in IMA, being a CA, because they have a different marking system for CAs. So in IMA, it matters. But it's not a blanket thing. In IIM Calcutta, not so much. IIM Calcutta is very CAT focused. So personnel relaxations is therefore all academic diversity, not just CAs. In IMA, there's a little more provision, because if you're a CA, you get calls at lower percentiles. But what actually, so even my percentile you'd asked, it was 97.41. And if you see the CA percentile brackets are usually that much. The outliers, there are, I mean, in fact, I've seen a couple of CAs with 99.XX as well this year. But the 96 to 97 range is where we usually find ourselves. And that is good for getting calls.
So what's the framework? Like top 10 chartered accountants who take the CAT, they are given a call. Is it something like that? Is it official, unofficial?
No, sir. Only as far as I know, only IIM Bangalore has that, where they call the top 10 CA applicants. And that top 10 is also like an average of your IPCC and final percentages. So unless you're a ranker at both the levels and with good ranks, it'll be hard to fall into that bracket. Also, another thing is with Bangalore and Lucknow, what they do is they care a lot about your undergraduation percentage as well. So over there, being a CA, even though it's diversity, it's a non-engineer, that diversity you get. You don't get an advantage for being a CA. They look at your undergraduation percentages. That's where I missed out on B, because my undergraduation was from IGNOU, and that is basically my IPCC marks. So that percentage kind of does matter.
So the next question follows logically. So undergraduation from IGNOU, as compared to a full-time college, like let's say in Chennai, it would be like Loyola College for Commerce or something like
Yeah,
that.
for men, we have Stella Maris for women.
And so Delhi, it would be like an SRCC, Lady Shriram, Calcutta Xavier's, Bombay Xavier's, or Narsi Munji, or there is some famous one. So how does that matter? I mean, in terms of undergraduation, because a lot of people pursuing CA will pursue the undergraduation from a distance mode because there's just too much pressure. So subsequently, when you try to apply for CAT, does that make a difference?
So sir, when I was in 12th, I knew that I wanted to do an MBA, that too specifically from IIM Ahmedabad. So I had written an email to IMA office, admissions office, and I'd asked them that if I do an undergraduation from correspondence, does that make me ineligible to apply for the CAT? And they had said that, and I remember, I mean, it was a mode of education that hampered admission. So the answer to, does correspondence make you ineligible to write the CAT? No. Does the low scores hamper your selection? Definitely. I have seen people in undergraduation distance wala bhi, they have good percentages. They have 80 plus in from certain universities. So if you are doing undergraduation from a distance education, I would really recommend that you take up a course which is more lenient on the marking front. Like IGNOU just takes your CPT and IPCC marks and averages it out with a couple of assignments and tests. So the possibility of scoring high in IGNOU is very low.
Oh, that's
Which
quite insight. So IGNOU will not have their own parallel exams like a typical
they
college would have.
they just have 6 exams. I gave all 6 after I became a CA. You have to give your CA final mark sheets to IGNOU, and the 6 papers you give, you have 3-4 assignments to give. But predominantly, they give you the degree of BCom because you're a CA. So if you don't clear CA final for whatever reason, you won't get the degree also.
Oh my God.
So
It's quite a
that is
trade-off
why
here.
IGNOU, it is just 6 papers, so I liked it. But now, in hindsight, I think I should have gone at least for a structured 3-year undergraduation,
And
even
you
if it
kind
was
of miss out on the campus experience also, the fest that you have on campus, and
yes,
some sort of a networking bonding.
of course, yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Now, you cleared CA in May 2018. So then subsequently what happened? You took CAT straight away in 2018, your first attempt, or you joined some sort of a job? What was your thought process? Then 2019 was when you finally cracked it. Yeah, tell us
Cat,
more about
yeah.
that. Yeah.
So I wish someone had told me कि 2018 में CAT दे दो, because I was I was of the impression that no, you to get admission you need WorkX, and that is when it will make more sense. And I never appeared for the CAT in 2018. Increasingly, I see CAs are more self-aware. They just write the CAT even if they're not very prepared. And I've seen so many people actually clear it with enough, with a percentile good enough to get a call and even convert it. So I do wish I had written it even immediately after I cleared. And that is what I tell any CA final students who ask me when they should be writing the CAT. I say, write it as soon as you clear final in that attempt. Don't wait. I personally, I didn't do that. I went on and I joined a process improvement and internal audit at Nestle. And after that, I gave the CAT in 2019. In fact, I started studying for the CAT only after I had quit. So my journey was not as linear as that. It was with a lot of upar niche.
Yeah, and you are a Marwadi, in that also Maheshwari, who is probably two notches higher in terms of economic sense. 2 years of salary foregone as a chartered accountant, which let's
Yeah.
say with a person of your pedigree will be like 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs per annum kind of a thing. Plus, how much are you paying for this 2 year MBA now? 23?
So it is 23 is the fee, but it doesn't include fooding and so
Yeah, yeah.
overall mess charges are separate. You would know, you are from IMA, but
I did a separate
it'll
course.
come
I
up to
did
20.
PGPX. Yeah. So in our case,
I
it
know,
was
I know, I know.
so 23 and
So
30 here, let's say assuming even 15 lakhs. So that's like a lot of number. And this,
that's a lot.
trust me, Simran, I tell a lot of chartered accountants, I am like openly advocating that after CA, you should do an MBA. In fact, that has been endorsed by all my IIM Ahmedabad directors also. Whenever I speak to them, they say
Right.
that CA plus MBA is a very powerful degree now, wherever you want.
Combination, yeah.
But then this, it's like a 50 lakh kind of a calculation, right? So then did that kind of have some sort of a bearing on your thought process when you finally decided, or you thought that it's more on the long run?
For me, sir, I didn't look at it at money at all. I was very lucky. My parents, both my parents were very clear that ye abhi 15, 20, 30, 40 lakh don't matter. And it is, I mean, you're planning for the next 50 years, not for the next 5 years. The kind of education, the kind of peer group, the kind of alumni network, the kind of professors, the environment that I will be getting in these 2 years, I can't put a price to it. And definitely not so early in my career where I'm just 24. I'm not even 24 yet. So for me, it was a
When
no-brainer.
is
I
your
didn't even have
birthday?
to take
When is your birthday?
June 26th. It's going to be a lockdown
You're going,
24 for me.
you're going to turn 24 this June.
Yeah, yeah, I
Oh,
will.
so ideally you would have celebrated your birthday on campus if things were
I would
normal.
have. I
But
would
now
have.
it's going to be a
Yeah.
lockdown birthday. Yeah, so I
It's
think
going
your
to be a
parents
lockdown.
did a lot of prudent thinking, that think long term, and this initial 30 40 lakhs, and I actually am at loggerheads with so many of them. In fact, there's one person I am still convincing that you do take the cat in the pair, but it's this temptation of a 15 lakh job, people.
No.
And the other
Yeah.
advantage, what do you reckon? Like jobs, the kind of job that one gets post MBA, management consulting or IB, wouldn't they be much more better than a process improvement job or a stat audit or an accounting job? What's your sense on that?
So it's really an individualistic decision. I've seen people because I come from a Marwadi family. We have a lot of CAs in the family, and some of them are really keen to even continue in the big fours, to continue and become partner in a big four. That's a great alternative as well if that is what you want. Personally, for me, I knew that I wouldn't join back statutory audit once I cleared as well. So that was not from what I was looking for would only come with an MBA. There are some people nowadays. I think I saw your video also that right after CA you're able to get into management consulting. That is happening increasingly these days. But broadly, the kind of roles that I was aspiring for would not really be possible. It's outside the purview of your traditional audit and taxation roles. So for me, an MBA was definitely on the cards.
Fantastic. And you have a very great initiative, and in fact, that was the reason why I probably noticed you on LinkedIn. You have this unconventional MBA, and this website, trust me, is really doing very well. Every day I see new stories coming up, and your mantra is CAT to call to convert. So, what is
Yeah.
that?
So, sir, what the thought process behind starting the website was basically trying to pass on the information that I gathered from so many sources, and a lot of information that I wish I had had in hindsight. So, CAT to call to convert is basically before you give the CAT, when to give the CAT, how and basically what to expect if you do give the CAT. That is what the CAT part of the website is. The convert part of the website is how to maximize your score in the CAT once you are giving it. And the convert part of it is going to come up soon. It is about how once you have the call, everything is done. Your CAT scores, whether it was low, bad, high, doesn't matter. Now you have an interview call, and all you need to do is in those 30 minutes, convert it. So what are the particular things that especially CAs, but we are covering a broad variety. We have you must have seen we've had lawyers on it. We are I mean, I'm not going to give it away. You should definitely subscribe to see. We have a lot more in the pipeline. We're just trying to bring in a lot of people who are the definition of unconventional MBAs, including pass outs who can tell us what to expect from an MBA, and people who have gotten great percentiles who can tell us how they did that. So it's basically a community. It's not really me passing on my experiences. It's about getting together a lot of people who have more knowledge in that domain and passing that on.
Okay, fantastic. And so your learnings in terms of how did you prepare for CAT? So because that also becomes quite an enigmatic thing. A lot of people say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I just took some mock CATs and I just prepared for it." Ho gaya. The typical survivors always kind of downplay the whole effort. So did you really work hard, or ho gaya tumhare case maybe?
I did, sir. I worked very hard. It was not breezy. I have met people who have just walked in on the day of the CAT and scored a 99 percentile. I am not one of those people at all. So I prepared for around 2.5 months, solid. But on the day of the CAT, I realized that I had messed up. I did keep my cool in my verbal was always my strength, and that was a very difficult paper for us. CAT 2019 was hard on verbal, but I knew that it was hard for me, it was hard for everybody, so I was okay with that. LRDI was something I wasn't expecting, and I carried that through the sections. So when I exited the CAT, I knew that this was gone. I got a 97.41 percentile, and I got a call from Ahmedabad. So that was the the redemption per se, that call letter. How I prepared for the CAT, it is basically what they say in terms of mock tests is very, very true. Because unlike CA, in CA, what we would do is we would study the syllabus. We would cover the syllabus in entirety and try to go into as much depth as possible. In the CAT, there is no syllabus. They don't prescribe a syllabus. It's only till what you've learned till the 10th grade. So how you actually increase your scores or how you realize what works for you as an individual is through mock scores. And that is why I also gave about 30 mocks in that time, and analyze after giving it became even more important. So studying is one thing. As a CA, for me it was like कि syllabus pehle pura khatam karo, sare sum solve karo. That is my mindset. But in the CAT, that does not work. You should start attempting papers even when you're not fully prepared, because that is how you will learn and you
That
will
how does
grow.
that help? So it's like, is it just a time management game? So let's say the typical approach is I will complete my entire study material
Yeah,
and then move on to the mock CATs and
yeah,
do my best, because if I in the initial phase I take a mock CAT and I land up with 75 percentile, I might just land up being very demotivated. So how does this whole
disappointed.
thing, and you do analyze also a lot with on your mistakes with each paper, is it like that? So
Yes,
that those
of
questions in
course.
that paper become instructive board for you, is it like that?
Definitely, so. So interestingly, CAT has 300 questions and 300 marks, 100 questions, 3 marks each. And if you get around 150 marks, which is roughly 50% of the paper, you are already 98 percentile and above. So it is not like that 50% mark is that percentile, basically. So what you're trying to do is you're not trying to solve the entire paper. The idea is not for you to attempt 100 questions. It's to attempt as many and as accurately as possible. It's a speed plus accuracy game through and through. And the only way you'll do speed plus accuracy is if you time yourselves and if you take the mocks and you realize where exactly you're going wrong, because the pressure gets to you between one section to the other. You do carry it unless you train yourself not to. It's very easy to. I did that in the main exam, so I can definitely tell you that it's a
Role of coaching here?
So CA students, I didn't take coaching. I just took up the books. I started with mocks. I did
Which
completely.
books?
I
Which books, Simran?
so I actually enrolled for this thing called Handa Ka Funda.
Yeah,
It's an
yeah.
online portal. On that, basically, you get all the solved examples on video from 2003 onwards. Everything is just solved, and some concept videos are there. Not very in depth, but little enough to know that where to start off, basically. So I just referred to that, and then I started with mocks, and I started with solving sectional tests. I didn't do
Arun
a
Sharma.
traditional finish book.
Arun
No, I didn't.
Sharma.
I didn't do that.
I told you
I
that.
didn't do that.
And mock cat series, which series did you take?
So IMS, I found them. Simcats, I really, really liked it. They were very close to the actual cat, I feel. A beautiful variety of questions, beautiful designing of questions. Time is very popular. Most people take that. I, for one, stayed away from time. For some reason, I always thought, I was told that it's a little harder than the actual cat. So I went with Simcats and I don't regret it. I mean, I think that was very representational of the actual cat.
And take us through your interview day at IIM Ahmedabad.
So my interview was actually one of the first rounds of interview. So it happens in phases, and mine was in February. February 15th was my interview. Morning slot, 8 o'clock. So I was the third in my panel. Our AWT happened, and after that we were just waiting. I saw a couple of other chartered accountants as well. So little confidence, but little also ki, array, okay, similar background of people. My interview, it was 30 minutes flat. In fact, it's on the blog. I've written it down in great detail. What I've really tried to do is when I prepared for my interview, I've read everything there is to read on the internet when it comes to chartered accountant MBA interviews, because I wanted to know what I'm up against basically. And every time I used to read that interview, I used to get very scared. कि यार ऐसे लोग कैसे होते हैं? They're so smart. They're able to crack every question they know the answer to, and I was very intimidated. Let me tell you, in my personal experience, I don't think that is how it goes down. You go there and you will stammer, you will be nervous. It is very human. It's not as rosy as it comes out. My interview had a lot of ups and downs. I started with in my introduction. Obviously, everybody plans their introduction to the T, and I knew exactly what I wanted to say. But when I went there, and my mouth, I just said Kolkata Marwadi, even though that was not the plan. It was all Chennai, because Chennai is what I studied all about. And my interviewer was a Bengali. One of the professors, he was a Bengali. So they just on to my Kolkata Marwadi comment, and it was just Kolkata, Kolkata, Marwadi, Marwadi.
What
I
kind of
should have been more
questions?
prepared.
What kind of
Uh,
questions?
they were they were asking me where do Marwadis come from? Are they from the Shekhawat region? Are they from Marwad? What is the what sets it apart? What is the difference between a normal Marwadi and a Maheshwari? In Kolkata, why are there so many Marwadis? What do they do? What do the Marwadi community in Kolkata basically? What do they do? So I told them, sir, most of them are businessmen. Some of them, a lot of CAs as well. So it was a light-hearted interview. The interviewer also laughed and he said, "Okay, so you're a Kolkata Marwadi, so you're a CA. It makes sense." So
And
it was
then
fine.
what
It
else?
was a lot of fun.
What else
Um,
did they ask?
so my interview basically not much of technical questions. It was very opinion based. They asked me, so since I've lived in Kolkata, then I lived in Nagpur for 3 years, and then I lived in Chennai. So they said, you've lived everywhere in the country. So you tell me what what unites India. So I said that unity in diversity. Then they were trying to create a little pressure on me, because they said, oh no, we're not talking about what divides India, we're talking about what unites India. You don't understand the question. So obviously, in the first 10 seconds, if someone is telling me you don't understand what I'm asking, it has an impact. But I explained all of those answers. One interesting thing in my interview was they asked me which is a large economy that does not have GST. uh, so I didn't know. And I was thinking out loud and I said, Dubai doesn't have direct taxes. And the professor caught that and he said, I'm sorry, do you think Dubai is a large economy? And I was mortified. I was like, no, sir, I don't think it's a large economy. And he's like, he looked very, astounded that somebody would think that Dubai is a large economy. And I had to come out of that. And I just said, no, sir, I don't know. He kept giving me hints. He was like, large economy. And I said, sir, I don't know. And then finally he said, you know what, I've been hinting for so long. Why don't you say USA? So I said, sir, I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't want to venture a shot. I said, sir, US is a large economy. China is a large economy. We take it against India. So are Japan and Germany. And I didn't know which one it was. And I'm so glad I didn't take that shot, because I would have never said USA. I would have never guessed it. And then we all laughed. It was that was the point in the interview where I felt a little calm. because until then I was just I don't know and I don't know, and it was I was very honest, and I think that that kind of reflects. I didn't try to cook up something that I didn't know. I tried to answer the questions with as much knowledge I had, and I stuck my ground. But if there was something completely out of the blue which I could not answer, I was upfront and I said, I don't know.
That's good. I mean, a lot of people are saying, yeah, they guess, if I were to hazard a guess, it would be US or Sri Lanka,
Yeah,
whatever. But you were very honest about that. And it will happen. And IMA interview cannot be like a breeze, because those
exactly.
professors, their hairs are not great like that. You know, they've seen so many.
Exactly.
All
So
right.
any mindset which is to outdo out with the professor who's taking your interview, bad mindset, don't do it. Just be yourself, be honest. I think that is what works.
Perfect. So as we head to the last segment, your mantra for fun and fitness.
So for fun, I'm a very social person. I love all of my friends. I love meeting them, talking to them, which is lockdown mein kafi meeting them is question marky. Uh, for fun, that is what I do predominantly. Uh, I've recently, when I quit, after I quit, I had some time on my hands, so I started playing badminton. I've never played a sport in my life, sadly, and I have terrible hand-eye coordination. But I try to learn badminton. I'm trying to learn the guitar. Uh, Fitness, I think if I give anybody any lectures on fitness, my father would have a field day because I'm bad at maintaining a proper fitness schedule. Even though I've tried in the lockdown, I have. I like doing yoga. That's something I actually enjoy, and meditation is also something I enjoy. Uh, so basically, yeah. But fitness is not something I would like to preach anybody about.
All right. Final question, your advice to youngsters. One, watch your blog, The Unconventional MBA.
Yes.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the vlog, guys. You should do that.
No, I think because you're doing a lot of good groundwork. Because there is, there is a lot of information asymmetry around this entire thing of
True.
careers, and a lot of people just don't have the right information. And in fact, that is why I
Yeah.
kind of take time out of my schedule also to record these interviews. They don't
Yeah.
yield anything tangible to me in return. But this entire information asymmetry, I am a big vote means vocal fan of the fact that this has to go away. Everyone should be aware of. So the fact, like that emerged in this
Exactly.
interview, IGNU, that IGNU does the
Exactly.
average of CPT and IPCC and gives you that mark as your graduation marks. And I am
Yeah.
Bangalore, this is going to cut it off. And I am Calcutta will not give you any weightage for C. And that's why Shayanika also did not have an I am Calcutta call.
I'm Bangalore. Actually, she had a Bangalore call because
Yeah,
she's got great ranks. I mean, she's a All India rank 4.
yeah.
So even that plays a huge role. I had the same percentile as her, but I didn't get a Bangalore call. I mean, even though I had some more work-ex as well. But that's when the CA ranks come into play. So it is good
And do
to
they give
know
you
that
marks for work X as well?
they do. They do. In fact, IMA had started to give more marks from this year. So when I saw that criteria, I was very scared because my work-ex was less than 1 year.
Oh, so you don't get
Bangalore
any
cares a
marks
lot
for
about
less than 1 year. So how is it like?
you get little some marks in Ahmedabad, not really. You don't. In Bangalore, you get a little bit of the x divided by 36 matlab number of months is a formula, but it's negligible. The optimum amount of work x would still be close to 2 years. 1.5 to 2 years is where you would that would be a median work x basically.
So what's your final advice? Yeah, I interrupted you in between.
No. So the one advice I want to leave everybody with, especially my CA fraternity, is to network. That is something that I think CAs, we're so smart, we're so good at all of the books, but we do not go out of our shell. We do not meet new people. We do not talk to them. These days, I've seen a lot of people active on LinkedIn. I've seen, in fact, I got a LinkedIn request from somebody who's in the grade 12. And he was so clear. He wanted to know exactly why he should do CA. And I love talking to people like that, people who are so clear on what they want to do at a young age. But network, because in the long run, the degrees and the college is not going to be the only factor that matters. It's going to be the people that you meet along the way. So go out there and talk to as many as you can.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much, Simran,
Thank you.
for
Thanks so much,
coming
sir,
on
to
this
give me
show.
that opportunity.
Yeah, so jao Simran, जी लो अपनी जिंदगी.
Yes, that's the plan, sir.
Go to LKB Plaza and shoot some photographs and put it up on
Yeah.
Facebook. So that's the first thing that you
I'm
need
going to
to.
put it up on my blog, so I think everybody is going to have to go there to get a glimpse into a CA's life in IMA after that. And I have a lot of CAs in our batch as well. So
Well,
all of us are
35,
connected.
30, 35 is the number nowadays, right? In a batch of 400.
25 था last year, I think 26 था, उसके पहले 32 था. इस बार
हाँ.
का अभी तक we don't have clarity. but it will be 20. Malab say I may have more chartered accountants. So
Good.
that is how the
Good.
number will roll.
Great, Simran.
Yes.
Great to have you on the show. All right.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much for giving me the time. So
Yeah.
bye bye.
Bye.